and welcome back to the Flourish vlog. So today we are wrapping up our series on common concerns during labor, and one of the ones that somebody had wrote to us, they wanted to know like what would happen if something didn't quite go right during labor or delivery. So we just want to start by saying that hopefully nothing will happen, but in those instances that it does, having a doula is really helpful. So first and foremost, as a mom and a couple who are expecting a baby, it's really important that you choose where you want to deliver your baby. Choosing the place where you feel safest, whether that's at home, whether that's at a birth center, or whether that's at a hospital, is of utmost importance. And the reason for that is because when you are in labor, and if you feel stressed out, you're going to release stress hormones. Whereas when you feel safe and you have the oxytocin flowing, that actually helps prevent complications from arising. So it is of utmost importance that wherever it is that you feel safest, that's where you choose to deliver.
And that can be different for everybody, and sometimes this can be a really hard decision for people to make because people tend to take other people's opinions into the equation when trying to decide where they want to give birth. So there's no wrong answer. So some moms, they really feel like they're safest and would feel most comfortable at a hospital. And then there might be people around them saying, well, it's safer to give birth out of the hospital. And then they're feeling that pressure like, oh, well, you know, maybe I'm doing the wrong thing and maybe I shouldn't. But they know in their gut that they don't feel safe with that. And then the opposite can happen too. There's moms that they really don't feel safe being in a hospital, and they know in their gut they don't feel safe about it, but maybe their family or their friends are telling them that the hospital is the safest place and that they're making a really bad decision to not be in the hospital. So then they might feel pressure to change where they give birth in order to make other people around them feel more comfortable, and that can cause complications in labor. So when you're thinking about where to give birth and who you want your provider to be, there's no right or wrong answer to that. So really go with what makes you feel safer, because it will help your birth go better. And then also going along with that, regardless of you know, what setting you choose to give birth in, it's really important to choose a provider that you feel safe with. So some people may be like, I want to deliver at the hospital, I don't really like these doctors, I don't really feel safe with their level of competence or how they're going to handle common complications, but these are my only choices at this hospital. And so they tend to just be like, think, you know, everything will be fine and not worry about it, and then make a decision they don't feel totally safe with instead of looking at other options. So if you're not feeling safe, you're not feeling comfortable with your provider, keep looking until you find one that meshes well with you in the space that you want to give birth in. And the same goes for midwives. There's so many different midwives out there. There's in-hospital midwives, there's out-of-hospital midwives, and then among all the out-of-hospital midwives, all the different midwives have a different style of how they do birth and different things that they're skilled at when it comes to complications. So talk to lots of midwives, ask them those questions, so you make sure that you found a provider that you really feel you know, aligns with what kind of birth you want, and that you feel confident in their skill to handle certain problems, because your provider is the one that's going to help. So stuff does happen in labor sometimes. Sometimes, you know, even if you do everything right, so to speak, there can still be complications that happen. And that's why we have providers, because they are trained, you know, when those things happen, on how they're supposed to handle them to help you have the best outcome possible despite complications. And then, but then it comes to also, how does a doula help in this situation? So let's say something, you know, does happen, some complication does come up, and your providers are giving their all, and they are busy in helping you physically and helping your baby, and that can be a really stressful situation for mom. And so having a doula there when something goes wrong can be super helpful, because while they are busy taking care of the safety of you and your baby, we can be taking care of you emotionally. So, you know, checking in what's happening, seeing what's going on, giving you updates, reminding you, something simple, just reminding you to breathe,
Breathe for your baby.
yeah, giving you encouragement emotionally, and just having someone who's there with you and your partner, to be there for the emotional part instead of the physical safety part, and that can actually help prevent more complications. So like, say you had like a shoulder dystocia, or your baby needs to be resuscitated, if you are super stressed when that happens, your baby just came out, now you're releasing all these stress hormones, and having someone to help calm you down emotionally and help calm those stress hormones can help prevent hemorrhage, because too much stress hormones after birth can make it harder for your uterus to clamp down and deliver your placenta safely. So really, that emotional aspect is really so important for what happens. And then even if there is some kind of bad outcome, a doula can be super helpful, because even postpartum we can be going over the birth, going over what happened, really processing that, which is something people really don't do in our culture. They don't process the things that were not good about birth.
Or traumatic, yeah.
They have this tendency to be like, well, you have your baby, or you have this,
The
you have
baby's
that.
healthy and everything's fine, so I shouldn't be upset.
Or even
This
if the
is not
baby's
accurate.
not healthy, they still don't process what happened, and so that very real trauma continues to carry on into the parenting, and makes it harder to deal with whatever you're going to have to deal with in the months and years to come, parenting. So really going over the birth and processing that emotionally, and being that that listening ear and that support postpartum can really help deal with any trauma that you may have from the birth. So it's super important, so that even if you don't hire a doula, or if something happens like that, really process it, in the months afterwards, because it's a super important thing to move on and be healthy for your baby and your family afterwards.
Yeah. Well, guys, I hope that kind of alleviated some more questions and some concerns, and we thank you so much for joining us on this vlog series, and we hope that you guys will reach out if you have any questions. We're here, we love to support you, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.
Bye.
Bye.